today I get to talk about one of my favorite topics, strong female characters in Doctor Who. Welcome to the Time Treadmill. I'm Ron, and these are my sweaty thoughts about Doctor Who. Up until about 8 years ago, the Web of Fear was almost entirely lost from the BBC archives. Out of 6 episodes, only 1 remained. And then, 8 years ago, at a transfer station in Nigeria, a whole stack of previously lost Doctor Who episodes were recovered. Among them was the story I just finished watching, The Enemy of the World, and then also 4 of the 5 missing episodes from the Web of Fear. Now, Web of Fear is particularly important in Doctor Who history for reasons that I'll get to tomorrow. But in broad strokes, the story is a direct sequel to The Abominable Snowman and features the return of Professor Travers, now 40 years older. The story is set in London of 1975 and primarily set in the London Underground and features the return of the Yeti and the return of the Great Intelligence. Now, among the returning characters, there's one very important new primary character, and that is Professor Travers' daughter, Anne Travers. She's a fantastic character who returns one more time in next season's The Invasion. And she's also a featured character in the series of Lethbridge Stewart novels, which I previously recommended, and I'm going to recommend them again. They are far, far better than they have any right to be. Now, as for Anne Travers, she's a young scientist, very competent, very smart, very strong, and she has one of my favorite pieces of dialogue from classic Doctor Who. Now, to frame this, I need to address a common complaint of the modern series of Doctor Who. Far and wide, there are fans, especially with the current Doctor, who complain that Doctor Who has become too PC. And to those toxic fans, I ask, what the heck show have you been watching? Because Doctor Who has had a well-established quote-unquote PC agenda with strong female characters like Barbara Wright straight away from the very first episode. And here in this episode we have Anne Travers in an establishing scene where she's working in a temporary military base set up in the London Underground, trying to fight against the Yeti and this encroaching web-like fungus that is filling the tunnels. The core of downtown London has been evacuated. The Doctor, Jamie, and Victoria have wandered into this situation, and here we have Anne Travers as a key scientist trying to address the problem at hand. Now in this scene, one of the young soldiers tries to flirt with Anne, and he asks her, "Say, how did such a pretty girl like you become a scientist?" And she turns around, she looks at him, and she says, "Well, when I was a little girl, I thought I'd like to be a scientist, and then I became one." It's just an absolutely brilliant moment that encapsulates the core ethos of what Doctor Who has always been about, which is that literally anybody can be a hero, regardless of age, regardless of gender, regardless of ethnicity. Doctor Who is one of the most humanistic shows in television history. And it's the reason I keep coming back to it again and again. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this story is a pivotal moment in Doctor Who for one very key reason, and I need you to come back tomorrow for me to talk all about that. Until then, as I always say, stay home, stay safe, be kind, be patient, and I will see you tomorrow.